we joke about the corpse. No, this is the corpse. This is actually the corpse. You can't.
Hello, world, and welcome back to Gridiron Campbell, the only podcast that puts its money where its mouth is. I'm your host, Rich Ryan, and I'm joined by two members of the collective, the Disciple, Brett Colson, and the resident moose himself, Mo Nawara. Donnie is battling something poker right now in the WPT Prime Championship. At last check, he had about 40 big blinds, and he was actually saved. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Listeners, rate and review on your podcatcher of choice. 5 stars only, like Bijan Robinson, who's currently tied 7-7 on Thursday Night Football, Falcons, Bucks. But DP was saved because of the old live read. Somebody did a literal Teddy KGB at his table. They played a hand earlier today where the fella 3-bet shoved queens. Donnie 4-bet shoved queens. And the fella who 3-bet, before he called, started fumbling with his phone to record with pocket queens. The queens hold up against Donnie's 10s. The pot is shipped his way. Later on, DP raises with the pocket queens himself. Phone man 3-bets. Somebody else 4-bet shoves. And before Donnie can act, my guy starts fumbling with his phone. Donnie notices this, pitches the queens into the muck, and my guy calls with the pocket kings and holds. So all you guys out there playing the poker, you want to film your hands. You want to make sure that they get on your Instagram reels. Anybody who has a sweat of you, any of the evidence, maybe you should wait until the action is completed.
Throw that in GTO Wizard.
Before you get the video record app out. I'm rambling a little bit because we had a very sour week. 2-3 in Circa Sports Million. Poor Mo. We talked Mo off of the ledge of selecting the Kansas City Chiefs because we knew it was going to be popular. It was the most popular selection in the contest last week. And of course, the Chiefs do not win, let alone cover, against the Texans. And Mo flipped a literal coin between the selection that he made, or I guess that fate made, the Atlanta Falcons +7 or the Tennessee Titans +4.5, and the coin came up Falcons. So we lost a literal coin flip there, but I was able to flip from, I basically had no pick, but I flipped to the second best leverage pick of the week, which was the Minnesota Vikings, who, did Minnesota win? Did they win outright?
They won by a mile.
How did that contest go? 31 zap in Minnesota. Everybody was just spilling over themselves to get a gimpy Jaden Daniels onto the card, a man who didn't even make it out of the first half as the quarterback for the formerly Washington racial slurs, formerly football team, now Commies. But all that being said, we're still only a half game out. There's still a lot to play for. Basically, if we go 3-2 out, we're going to cash in this thing. And for what amount, who knows? But Mo is just... Mo, can you give the people just a taste of how you've been in the group chat?
Well, I already know what the final result is, so I just told you guys.
He's got the script. It's
pointless to even put in a pick, really, because 12 years of evidence tells me as soon as things are going well, the light at the end of the tunnel becomes a train, and we get smashed in the face, and we finish 40% for the last month, and then we get nothing. What's it called? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You get nothing, fuck you. Get out. I mean, that's what's going to happen. I know it's what's going to happen. It already started happening multiple weeks ago. Last week, it happened some more. I mean, let's be honest. As much as the Eagles was miserable, that was the right side. I mean, the Chargers couldn't get a yard, and they still won. So, thank you, Jalen Hurts. You stink. And I hope Dan Orlovsky is on a public apology tour. I'm guessing he's not, but he should be for those offseason takes. That was embarrassing.
I was going to read verbatim your train line because that was the best part about the light in the tunnel ends up being a train. But all right, Mo, all we need, again, 3-2 the rest of the way, just some body blows, and we'll be in the money. And if we heat up, if we put together some 4-1s, we can still win this thing, by the way. If we 5-0 out, we are the winners. Mo is disgusted at any thought of optimism. Let's get into the football. I made a mistake in extending this intro because we have 15 games, many of which are split contests because we have 0 consensus picks this week. And we will start with one of the marquee matchups of the week. It's Lions at Rams. Both of those animals make that sound. This nearly made everybody's top 5 because I'm the lowest and I have this game bubbling my top 5. But the biggest opinion comes from Mr. Minotti, who unsurprisingly is fading Dan Campbell.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure people are paying close enough attention to just how ravaged this Lions secondary is right now. Branch is out for the year. Kirby Joseph downgraded in practice on Thursday, which is not encouraging. This is the second straight year that lack of attrition on the defense has created problems for Detroit. And unfortunately, they're running out of time. And this might be the end because now they play the Rams, probably the best team in the NFL. An offense that is humming. Stafford, McVay. This passing game punishes inexperienced defensive backs. Like Detroit just gave up 425 yards to a Dallas offense that didn't have CeeDee Lamb for half the game. They won, but it took an enormous effort to do it. It was a max output performance, and when teams are stretched this thin, they have to empty the tank to survive. And I feel like this is the following week, where it breaks. And I think coaching is a huge piece here too. McVay knows Goff as well as anyone, better than probably Goff's current coaches know him. So a lot of familiarity there, which means in late down, short yardage situations, I think Campbell's aggressiveness could come back to haunt him. And the Rams offense could stomp Detroit in short fields if they can't convert in short yardage and high leverage situations. So I think LA is going to score a lot here, and I don't think Detroit has the horsepower to trade punches with LA for 4 quarters.
I too am on the Rams. I actually have a Rams and over ticket in my account. This Lions secondary is just completely gone. Brian Branch out for the season. Kirby Joseph tried to make a go of it. He tried to practice on Wednesday and then came up as a DNP here on Thursday. So they have no safeties. They have the corpse of DJ Reed out there, former Jet legend. I'm very happy they let him walk. Never, ever give undersized cornerbacks a third contract. That is a rule that should just be etched in stone in this league. He was getting a clown suit stitched on him in every one-on-one situation in that Cowboys game. And it's not to mention that George Pickens was basically completely checked out in that game, and yet the Cowboys passing attack had so much success. We've seen this Rams team clown much lesser opponents on the defensive end than what the Lions are going to trot out on Sunday. So, yeah, I think the Lions are going to have their way on offense. But Mo is on Detroit Motor City. Donnie is 2 in his top 5, but he can't speak for himself. But Mo, pick up the torch for Dan Campbell and them Bulls.
Yeah, why'd the Lions beat the Cowboys? Is it because they scored 44 points because they were playing indoors with Jared Goff and a pretty good offense? I don't know. Maybe they could just score some more points against the Rams too, since they're playing
is that Cowboys defense
with Jared
Goff. Is that
Goff.
Cowboys defense bottom 5 at everything?
No. They're
It's
definitely
pretty bad.
not bottom 5. Stop.
It's
They're
pretty
fine.
bad.
They're fine. They're just run-of-the-mill, below-average team.
I just pulled it up now.
Defense,
30th in pass D.
Okay.
EPA.
That's over the full season, though.
It's irrelevant, man. They're fine for the last month. They're just fine. Like, they're fine.
Oh, they're you're right. You're absolutely right. They're fine when they play the Vegas Raiders. They're fine when they play the ghosts of the Kansas City Chiefs. You're right. They
can still rush the passer. Matt Stafford is bad still if you have any pressure on him. He stinks.
This is the weirdest.
He still stinks.
This is the weirdest
pressure on him,
multi-week fade of the Rams.
One person who can even threaten the defense. Yes, there's a lot of injuries. This is also Detroit, extra time to prepare. Dan Campbell, extra time to prepare. And isn't this the game where you want Dan Campbell to be a lunatic? I can't believe Brett's making that out to be a bad thing. And then, yeah, they'll have plenty of stuff cooked up, I think, for this one. Dan Campbell definitely will. I would expect some trick plays and just way, way better playmakers on the turf, man, for Detroit. Just way better playmakers than what the Rams have out there. Slow running backs, injured Devontae Adams at best. And, Detroit, much better receiving core and running backs. So I think they can keep this within reason. This line is 2 points too high for me. So with fake home field,
2 points too high. This is Goff on the road against a front that can get to the court.
Yeah, it's a terrifying place to play.
This is Goff on the road
indoors
against a defense that can get to the quarterback without blitzing. 30th in blitz rate, 7th in adjusted sack rate. This is Goff throwing at 7 guys in coverage with pressure, his brain melting and making mistakes. That's what this is. And that's what Goff has done in this spot for his entire career. So I don't see why this would be any different. This next one, we go from a very exciting indoor high flying affair to Browns at Bears. A game on the lake, which is going to have frigid temperatures. And I got to give you guys props last week. Nobody said it, but the cap for the Browns was they quit. Their defense quit. It was over. They let the Titans score 30 points against them. And it's 2 weeks in a row now that the Browns have been scored on. So if it's quit season, if the only thing that holds this team together is going to quit, and we know that they only perform at home, aren't they going to go to Chicago and just get waxed by Ben Johnson? Of course, Brett doesn't think so because Brett has been fading the Bears all season, and it's happening once again in Week 15.
Yeah, look, Chicago has earned some market respect with the win in Philly, and they played Green Bay really close last week. But I'm sticking to the thought that this is not a team built, especially to win games by margin, which they're going to have to do here. They have 3 wins all season by more than 7 points. Now they're laying 7.5 against a defense that, maybe they have given up, but we know what the ceiling is with this Browns defense. This is Shedeur Sanders' first real road test, but Chicago can't rush the passer. They're 28th in pressure rate, so the Browns can stick with what worked. Quick throws, a heavy dose of Quinshon Judkins in the run game, and I think this is the perfect matchup to run the ball too. Chicago 30th in yards per carry allowed, one of the worst tackling teams in the league, which gets even more exposed in cold weather. So I think with a proper game plan here, Chicago or Cleveland can keep this somewhat close. Chicago's also banged up in the secondary too. Kyler Gordon may miss again. Tyreek Stevenson, Jalen Johnson's still on a snap count, I think. So I think there's enough here for Cleveland to keep this within a touchdown.
Mo has no opinion, but he has a strong opinion on this next one. Vikings at Cowboys. The Cowboys are -5.5 in the contest, and Mo is interested in fading JJ McCarthy off of a 31-point victory.
Yeah, he just played a fake game against a fake defense. Look at the rest of his season. He's the worst. And then you have a Minnesota defense that is grading out very well, but I think is a bit of a cupcake masher in the sense of they just exploit bad quarterbacks and like coaches who can't prepare for Brian Flores' stupid tricks. But I'm impressed with what this Dallas staff has cooked up this year, and they have a veteran quarterback who I just watched replace every blitz Steve Spagnuolo threw at him. So I just feel like Dallas should be probably 7-point favorites here against a horrific Minnesota team on offense that, yes, they finally scored some points, but look at all their games before that. They are struggling to get to 20 on a good day. And they're facing a real offense with a real quarterback and a real passing game. I just sell JJ McCarthy immediately to me. If he has 2 good games in a row, I guess I'll just pay for it. I mean, I don't understand why Dallas is only 5.5-point favorite.
For what it's worth, I like Dallas a lot too, but I do think they're going to be popular here short of 6.
86% of the handle on the Dallas Cowboys. And you know what's a good recipe for an offense that's struggling? Playing indoors against a bottom 5 defense, which the Dallas Cowboys have. So the market obviously loves the Vikings coming off the 7, but I think at this number, short of that, I think the contest will buy back into Dallas. But yeah, I put an X next to Minnesota, but I cannot, in good faith, put JJ McCarthy, off of a 31-point victory anywhere near my top.
Dude, he has
5.
an alien at wide receiver, and he can't even get him a target. I mean, this guy is incapable of throwing the ball more than 8 yards downfield. The Dallas is just going to put their whole this secondary is terrible, but they're just going to put their whole defense at the line of scrimmage. Rightfully so.
Okay, I feel like I'm getting deja vu. Literally these 2 games in a row. This first one especially, because the Colts are traveling to Seattle, where the Hawks are 13.5-point favorites. I feel like it's happening again. There's a team just going to Seattle without a quarterback. I've seen this story before. And not only, so here are the options for the Indianapolis Colts. They either play something Riley Leonard, QB power ass, unprofesh ass quarterback who cannot complete forward passes, or they can't actually play Phillip Rivers, right? I heard the steam today from Adam Schefter was that they're going in the direction. You can't. It is malpractice to put Phillip Rivers on a football field against the Seattle Seahawks. Regardless, this number has to be north of 14 points. The Hawks are just going to do it again. They're just going to cram another team that can't function. The Colts have nobody in the secondary anymore. Sauce is out. Ward is out. Disaster time for Indy. And they're just going to get mushed again. And once again, Brett doesn't believe in the Hawks mushing and has the Colts bubbling his top 5.
Yeah, this is just putting my trust in Shane Steichen with the guy's a Hall of Famer. Like, he's not going to do anything stupid. He's not going to do anything extra.
Can you stop it? You cannot just say he's a Hall of Famer.
You don't actually believe he's going to play, do you?
He is.
What else are they going to do?
The way Adam
Something
Schefter,
Riley Leonard. I thought he actually didn't embarrass himself last week. I refuse to believe somebody. If Phillip Rivers actually plays, then I have to change my pick. But I just refuse to believe that's going to happen.
Well, so who are you on that?
Something Leonard. He was fine last week. He was throwing decent passes and getting first down. I thought I thought he had no chance to be a professional, okay? And he actually didn't embarrass himself, I thought. So I think with Steichen, he can actually score a few points, and that's probably all they need to cover. I think there's multiple points between something Riley Leonard and the corpse of Phil. We joke about the corpse. No, this is the corpse. This is actually the corpse. You can't put him on the field.
You don't know that.
You can't do it.
We haven't seen him in 5 years.
Stop.
Best shape of his life.
I was blown away when I went back and looked at that season, and he was 8th in EPA per play. Because my mind's eye was, did I save the sounder? Oh no, I didn't save it. Was he's just gonna dump it off to Nyheim Hines. That was just That's all I remembered was just him throwing checkdowns to Nyheim Hines. But no, he's 8th in EPA per play. But this is crazy. He shouldn't even dress. Someone needs to be thrown in jail if this guy goes on.
I'm completely with you. That's why I'm refusing to believe this is a real thing. I don't buy it.
But on the other side, aren't the Hawks scoring 30 here? This Colts defense is dust.
Why are the Hawks scoring 30 though, man?
Because they always
say that every week.
Suck.
We say that every week, though.
No, come on. Last week was a joke.
We say that every week.
They struggled to. If Max Brosmer wasn't handing them points, they would have scored like 16 points.
You're right.
If you score 16, it's really hard to cover 13 and a half or whatever this line was. I can't even remember what it was, but it's really hard. Really, really hard.
All right. Speaking of Brosmer. The New York Jets travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. Like the Hawks, the Jags are 13.5-point favorites. And like the Hawks, this has to be north of 14. Okay? I have it on pretty good authority that Justin Fields will never dress again for the New York Jets. They approached him about doing some packages, some Wildcat stuff. He said he did not want to do that. So they said, Justin Fields, kick rocks. You will never, ever dress ever again for the New York Jets. They signed Adrian Martinez this week to be the backup to Brady Cook. So it's either UDFA Brady Cook, who is very likely to be the starter, and if anything happens to him in the game, it's Adrian Martinez. And unlike something Brosmer, who went to the Pacific Northwest with Justin Jefferson, with a defense that is led by Brian Flores and can do some things, this is the Jets, who were rolling out A.D. Mitchell, John Mechie, and a bottom 3 defense in this league. The Jags can run the ball on anybody, and they're just going to run the ball right down the Jets' throat. They're going to score 30 or 40 in this game, and it'll be a miracle if the Jets get to 2 touchdowns. So this needs to be 17. This needs to be Jags minus 17. Brett, tell me why not. You have the Jets in the middle of your 15.
Well, yeah, because nobody's clicking on the Jets, A, and then B, it's Trevor Lawrence. Like, you're right, they're just gonna run the football a lot, but it is Trevor Lawrence who he's just wildly inconsistent, and I don't know that I trust Trevor Lawrence to be covering 13.5 ever, because he can, like Sam Darnold, who we just talked about. Trevor Lawrence can give away a game by himself, so that's where I landed on this game.
You know what's a good thing though? The Jets have as many interceptions as the collective this season in pro football.
Is that right?
0. Yes.
I heard that
the
stat
Jets,
today, yeah.
The Jets have The Jets have gone 340 days. 340 days without intercepting a football.
That's pathetic.
Did you look at Brady Cook's numbers last week? Unlike Riley Leonard, he wasn't getting first downs, okay?
No, he can't function. He cannot function. They schemed up an unbelievable, it was the new age fake orbit motion where John Mechie came in orbit and then stopped and then went back to where he was, wide open for a touchdown. Absolute layup. The only decent throw of Brady Cook's day, and John Mechie just drops it. I mean, this is just this team is awful, and they're going to get stomped into the ground on Sunday. A game that nobody had a strong opinion on whatsoever.
The Bills make me wanna shout.
The Bills travel to Foxborough to take on the Patriots. This is a pick in the contest. And Mo has the highest opinion on this game with this soft bubbling his top 5. It was the stone bottom for everybody else. All 3 others, we just had this at the bottom. I personally think this is lined perfectly. I've got no opinion here. Mo obviously has an opinion on the traveling Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, because the Patriots are actually going to have to play an opponent with a pulse now, and I think things are going to be a lot tougher than everything else that they've been doing. And they have a coach who I mean, congratulations for getting to this point, but like, is a bye week going to matter for Meathead Vrabel? Like, are they just going to like come out with anything sharp or like inventive against the Bills here? I don't think so. And this is just a good matchup for Buffalo. I think that they can't stop the run. This is an absolutely pathetic and embarrassing run defense. But you have a Patriots team that is the worst up front, multiple injuries. They were the worst before they had multiple injuries. Now I think Drake May is going to be under a lot of pressure, and I don't think Josh Allen and his handoff merchant ways are going to have a particularly tough day against an okay Patriots defense. So I think the Bills, because the matchup is so nice for them, because this is such a huge spot, because they've been waiting for this game to kick the Patriots in the teeth after they kind of embarrassed themselves at home. I mean, yeah, this just feels like this should be Buffalo here to me. So I'm with you that on paper, I understand the line. I just think it's a good matchup for the Bills.
I know you're
in
kidding.
A good spot too.
I know you're kidding with the handoff merchant stuff, but it still hurts. It hurts to hear you say that because you can't possibly mean that.
Why not? James Cook is the best player on the offense.
Oh my God.
People are going to be asking the question, maybe after this game, if this is better coach, better quarterback. I obviously don't believe that. In the Patriots direction, I mean. I obviously don't believe that because I think Josh Allen is very special. But Drake May, on all these charts, all these everything, Drake May is up and to the right because schedule matters. As Mo said, these guys have lined up a bunch of tomato cans and knocked them down. Fair play when they went to Buffalo. They played well. Drake May played well. And I think this Bills defense has gotten worse since that first game, somehow, some way. But yeah, I'm just excited to sit down and watch this one because this is, Brett, this is y'all's shot, right? The most open this conference may ever be. And this is y'all's shot. But unfortunately, like you said in the Discord, this is the worst collection of players you've had during Josh's tenure.
Yeah, in 6 years, this is the worst. Well, maybe not his rookie season, but since 2020 for sure, this is the worst team we have put out on the field. And yeah, this is why I said like our window might have closed last year because the roster is just, the defense especially is just in shambles right now. How are we getting stops against anybody? We better score 35 points this week.
2 more split games. Both will be very quick. Titans at Niners. Brett, you have the Titans soft bubbling your top 5, catching 12.5 points in Santa Clara.
I want to know if Brett is actually betting all these absolute horror show teams.
No, I'm not betting. This is all contest plays. You know me. You know
I'm
where
asking you.
Yes, I clicked on the Titans because I think people are going to click all of these favorites, even at these huge numbers. Because the narrative is the Titans have quit, the Browns have quit, the Jets.
I think they'll click the Niners. They're not going to click the Jags. No one.
I don't think so either.
Trevor Lawrence minus 13.5 in the contest.
You're probably right. That's really all this was for me. I mean, how could you make a case for the Titans other than everybody's going to click on the other side?
I mean, the case is, I think the case is that they might score some points because, man, there are some absolutely deep red numbers on Rich's chart by the Niners defense. That's the way, right? I feel like if you bet the Titans with real money, just parlay with the over, right? There's no way that the Titans, like if this goes under, it's because the 49ers won 31-10 or whatever, right? Like,
yeah, everybody with CMC in the fantasy playoffs is licking their chops at this matchup. Niners off the bye. Man. But you're right. This Niners defense is gettable. And I feel like no one has exploited it again schedule plays into this. They've played the Browns. They've played the Panthers. How many of these teams are actually able to have a functioning passing offense? So waiting for one of these teams to test them post all these injuries just hasn't happened yet. It could be Cam Ward and them boys. Last one, Cardinals at Texans. Brett, again, I'll bring you in because, again, nobody has an opinion here. You've got the highest opinion on this game. It's your boy, something Gannon.
Where I landed on this was that the Texans were -7 on the look ahead, and we're looking at 9.5. I know the Texans looked great last week, and Rich, you might be right. Like, this is a team that could probably make a run at the Super Bowl. It's just looking at the AFC right now, it is that wide open. But again, this is I don't think the Cardinals are going to be the more popular side in this one, so I just clicked Arizona.
All right, let's get out of this.
Did you take some 700 on the division, Rich?
I do have Texans 7-1 to win the division. I wanted to desperately bet them to make the Super Bowl when we were discussing prices, but the apex price was plus 1,900. It was the market was outrageous. So I'd rather just get them for the division price and then maybe play some money line in the playoffs once they get there, because they'll be plus the first couple of rounds. But yeah, I mean, if CJ continues to play well, if Higgins continues to get better, we know what Nico Collins is. Who's going to win this conference? Like, it is completely wide open.
Aren't all the scary pass rushes in the NFC too?
Yeah. Like this
Seahawks,
Houston offensive
Rams,
line
Packers. Like, these are the
terrify me.
teams that, they just can't beat, right? But they would only have to play one of them in the Super Bowl if they get there.
I started playing playoff best ball this week, and I cannot stop drafting Texans because it's just like they're right there. They're as good as every single one of these other teams right now. So I can see it. I see a path. You were right.
Let's go Texans. All right, let's go Lone Wolves. I definitely know what this first one is from Brett. Something leverage. Pick the guy who... Did he play the worst last week, or did Illum just have the maximum on the other side? On the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because Brett is laying the 2.5 points on the road with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, do I love this for the contest. This is a buy low, revenge spot, leverage trifecta. Cincinnati just emptied the tank in a wild game in the snow against Buffalo, and I think the Ravens are just sitting in a massive positive regression spot. So let's start with the Bengals. We've basically watched them play back-to-back playoff games the past 2 weeks. They got Burrow back on Thanksgiving. The entire team gets a jolt, and they pulled a shocker over Baltimore. And then last week, kind of the same thing, like desperation mode, playing in the snow, like their season depended on it, because it did, and they let that one slip away. So now they're at 9 losses, and I think the air is just out of the balloon now. Like, Burrow looked unmotivated. He almost looked depressed in his presser this week. It's like, this is typically where the effort dips and execution drops, and like the flaws you've been masking start to show up again. And the flaw here is obvious. The defense is terrible, and Burrow doesn't fix that. And I think with the Ravens, you got a team that just lost 2 close divisional games. They've been robbed by variance in both games. And I think this is...
Back it up a little bit. Tell me why the Ravens deserve to win that game.
Which one? Both.
They lost by 20 the first time.
Well, okay, but
then what happened?
I mean,
they allowed 8 yards per play to the corpse of Aaron Rodgers, and they didn't hold on to a touchdown. Why is that? variance.
also
That
the
was a
Rodgers
bad
pick.
play.
The Rodgers pick was fake. That
The
was
Isaiah Likely
outrageous.
touchdown. The Isaiah Likely
Yeah, the
fumble
Likely-
2 weeks ago completely flipped the game. Like the things have just not gone their way in the highest of leverage plays. So I think you give John Harbaugh a revenge game, a short number here, and a Bengals team that's coming off those two emotional games. I think this is exactly when Baltimore shows up angry and focused, and I think you're going to get a really good leverage spot, like Rich said, with Baltimore here.
But it's funny. I don't think this is going to be leverage. Right now, 36% of the handle is on Cincy, and I think people are really going to read into those Joe Burrow comments
Maybe.
of him sulking and not back the Bengals with so much fervor. That being said,
the other thing too is that this is now moving towards 3, and if it does end up at 3,
if this
then
gets
throw
to a full
everything
3,
right.
then yeah. Then it becomes everybody and their mother is going to click Baltimore. Mo, you've got the Ravens you got the Bengals, bubbling your top 5.
Yeah, everything Brett said is what a good team would do. The Ravens aren't a good team. They're a bad team. So guess what? They're going to come out and be a bad team, laying points on the road. They just let Aaron Rodgers, who is done, have 8 yards per attempt. That was embarrassing, dude. I mean, I cannot believe how bad the Ravens played.
Like 45 of it was on a dump off to Jalen Warren.
So why can't Joe Burrow dump it off? Why can't he do whatever he wants in this game? I mean, I'm with you that like everything. Yeah, Joe Burrow did look pissed off. He did look depressed. He's probably being honest that he's over it in Cincinnati right now, but it doesn't matter. This is still the Bengals at home against a division rival, dude. They're not going to just let the Ravens waltz into the playoffs. Come on, this is stupid. I think the Bengals should maybe even be favored here. This should be a really close line. So I just I don't understand this line. And once I saw that there's some close to -3s out there. So I think the Ravens are going to be the fish side here. So Lamar Jackson in a cold weather game. Did you see him again last week? Just bundled up with his stupid ass ski mask hood on and just looking like the most miserable person in the world on the sideline. Dude, what a loser. I hate players who can't play in 25-degree weather or whatever. It wasn't even that cold. Grow up, Lamar.
Your boy Schottenheimer wore a shiesty at practice. I think it was Tuesday. And the reporters were asking him about it afterward. And he's like, I don't know. I don't like it. I couldn't breathe. Just ridiculous. We keep it with Brett's Lone Wolves. And he is taking a team that he loves. This time, or once again, another road favorite. Go, Pack, go! As the Packers travel to Mile High to take on the Broncos. They too are laying 2.5. They did not make your top 5, however, Brett.
Yeah, I think these are two different classes of football teams. I like Denver, but they are not a complete team like Green Bay is. So I think this number is right, or maybe even short. I had this at Green Bay -3. People are going to look at this though as, why is Denver getting points at home? I think people are going to click Broncos here, even at 2.5. So that's ultimately where I landed. I think Green Bay is the second best team in the NFL, if not 1A, 1B with the Rams, and I think the Broncos are a tier below that.
I think you're wrong about leverage. I think everybody loves the Packers. I haven't heard a single person support Denver this week. And I don't think people are going to worry about laying less than a field goal against Bo Nix with what they perceive to be the best team in the league. But when I was staring at this game and capping this game, I just kept hearing Mo in the back of my head. When the times where Love blows it is when he sees pressure. Right now, one of the best pressure teams in the league, 5th in pressure rate, 1st in adjusted sack rate, is the Denver Broncos. This is all. I know the NFC North is tightly contested, This is an interconference game. It has a little bit lower stakes on it. And I don't know. This feels like one of those spots where Jordan Love just goes out and plays like an asshole, right? In a very tough environment. Night game. Is this a night game or a 4 p.m. game? Cold, tough
Afternoon.
defense after the late afternoon, the big 4 p.m. slot. And then I just think Denver handles their business, right? Like nothing ever looks pretty on offense, but it never looks like a complete disaster. I mean, we saw some disaster throws against Washington, but Bo Nix has the special one in him every so often. But on the whole, I don't think it's ever like the worst thing you've ever seen. So I honestly think that this might be a leverage spot in Denver's favor. And yeah, I just think it's a good spot for Denver against Jordan Love, who tends to crumble in these spots when he gets pressure against them. So on the other side there. Going to Mo. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers laying the 3.5, playing host to
Miami and the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
What are you shaking your head about? This is passing offense.
No, this is, you know what this is. There's only two ways to look at this game.
They were fine in the cold last week.
One way is football. And if you look at it about football, then the Steelers should be more than 3.5 point favorites. If you care about leverage, then you can click on the Dolphins. There's not one logical reason that the Steelers shouldn't be more than 3.5 point favorites. It's Tua, who is awful in the cold. He can't complete a pass. He keeps passing for 125 yards every week. And the Dolphins keep winning fake games. Brett talked about that Commanders game. Then we had that Saints game where they couldn't complete a pass, almost melted down. And then last week they played a AAA team. So, I mean, they're actually going to have to play a real football team now on the road in the cold. And I think the Steelers are going to punk this trash bag Dolphins team that is just can't do anything. I know the Steelers suck, but they are on a different level of suck than the Dolphins, dude. They really are. I mean, when was the last time Tua had a decent game?
I don't know. I just think they've been fine. And more importantly, the Steelers defense has taken substantial steps back. And now TJ Watt's not going to play because he got Dr. Chowd. Somebody stabbed him during treatment, it sounds like. They're being very coy about it, but he was getting treatment and then all of a sudden he's got a lung injury. Sounds very weird. I think the Dolphins, I joke about passing offense. I think the Dolphins can run straight in this game with Achane, with Wright, and with Ollie Gordon and just run up the score against a very poor Pittsburgh defense. Keep the ball out of Tua's hands. 3.5 points. I just do not trust Rodgers and this offense to put up points, score, and extend leads against anybody. And the Dolphins have sneakily been okay on defense. Again, opponent matters, right? The teams that they're playing haven't shown much resistance in Washington, New Orleans, and New York. But I got a bone to pick with one of those teams that we'll circle back on in a moment. This next one, I guess Mo is just the super anti-leverage guy because he is laying the 2.5 with Jackson Dart and the New York Giants playing host to the Washington Commanders.
I got nothing on this game. This is a fair line. Why is this leverage? People are just going to line up and take the Giants?
People love
73% of the handle currently on Jackson Dart and them boys. Tell us why you have Washington in your top 5.
What? Oh,
this is me. This is picking the team that clearly looked the worst last week. But Now they have a quarterback who gets a full week of prep, knowing he's going to be the starter again, getting points against a bad Giants team. Like, look, I love Jackson Dart too. He's fun, he's exciting, but he can be a huge liability as well. 34th in pass EPA in neutral game state. Yeah, he can make plays with his legs, but that's not how you get after this Commanders defense. You got to do it through the air, and I'm just not sure he can do that enough to warrant a 2.5 point spread with like no weapons at all. And we know this is the number that people love to bet in the contest, this minus 2.5, especially for home teams. So yeah, I think the Commanders are the clear leverage side with Mariota, and so that's why I've got them so high.
Mariota. You know what the look ahead was on this game, Mo? With Jaden Daniels?
I have no idea. I paid very little attention to this game, I'll be honest.
Washington minus 2.5. 5-point move for Mariota.
That's what it moved against the Chiefs. Same situation.
Yeah. I can't get on this Giants team as favorites in 2025.
This could also
What is this
close
defensive line
3.
going to show up? Well, that would be, that I would mount up and get Washington on the card if that's the case.
Yeah.
If the Giants are going to be a top 2 pick in the contest, then yeah, you have to slam Washington because they stink. This Giants team stinks. All right, we'll bang through
Donnie's. Get any
Donnie's.
argument from me? This is just two bad teams.
We'll bang through Donnie's 2 lone wolves first. This is one of the most interesting caps of the week. Chargers at Chiefs. The Chiefs are 5.5 point favorites in 2025 against a playoff team. And on the surface, I would think that everyone is going to look at that and say, how could you possibly lay points with Kansas City? But once again, everybody's lining up to take the Chiefs. 90% of the handle is on Kansas City. All I've heard this week is how is Herbert going to play outside in the cold with a broken hand? I agree. I agree with all these points. I wanted to love the Chiefs. Like, love the Chiefs. But I think Kansas City is going to be a popular side. So Donnie's got the Chargers in his top 5. I don't know if he's going full devil or what. I don't even know what the explanation is. Other than, the Chiefs suck. That's the explanation there. Is that the Chiefs just stink. They flat out stink. So how can they lay 5.5 points? Brett, you've got Kansas City in your top 5.
Well, this was 4.5. I think most of that action that came in was at the 4.5, and now we're at 5.5. So
it's 6. 6 on Pinnacle.
Is it really? Well, then I don't like the Chiefs as much. Then I don't understand what's going on here, dude. Why are people still hammering the Chiefs?
Because it's obvious.
Justin Herbert just threw for 100 yards with no tackles.
Did you watch
and a broken
that game?
hand.
This is not a functional offense.
I didn't
dude.
watch that game, thankfully. But
okay, you saved yourself a lot of misery. Let me just say that. And after that, let me just tell you firsthand from somebody who watched that game, this Chargers offense is non-functional. Okay, they cannot pass the football. And once again, same thing I said last week against the Texans. It's another offensive line that Spags and this defense can actually pick on. If you can protect your quarterback, you can pass all over this Chiefs secondary. But if you can't, then the Texans basically, let's be honest, the Chiefs got fucked once again by the refs, and then one big play by Nico Collins, and that was basically their entire offense. So, yeah, this is, and then obviously Andy Reid turning it over on the 30. But, if Rashee Rice caught the ball, maybe a different story there. So, yeah, it's just that I know that the Eagles have a wonderful secondary still, but that was concerning what the Chargers put on tape last week. That was... It's not going to work going forward. So something has to change. And I don't see what can change. I just don't see what can change.
Yeah. And this is the Chiefs' ultimate back to the wall, right? We've been saying it for weeks. They need to string some wins together. Now it's over, right? You have to win out and you need help. So this is the ultimate leave it all on the field spot. I think the Chiefs win by margin, but so does everybody else. So I couldn't put the Chiefs higher. I couldn't put them in my top 5. This next one, I mean, Donnie, what are we doing? Donnie's laying 11.5 points with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Why? Why won't he stop?
I don't understand it. And of course, it is the Las Vegas Raiders. It is Kenny Pickett. I understand all of these things. But the Eagles can't complete forward passes. They are you want to talk about non-functional. They're a non-functional offense with no reason other than Lane Johnson. No reason to be this bad. So total of 38.5. We're laying 11.5 with the Eagles. I can't get behind it. So yeah, this is a no-brainer in my top 5. Love this play. And so too does Mo. Mo loves the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys know how many games the Eagles have won by 11.5 points this year? It was 1. It was the time that they beat the Giants when the refs fucked the Giants again. Multiple bad calls, like really bad. The sorts of calls that like swing things, like turnovers instead being touchdowns and fourth downs being converted when there should be penalties. We all know what those plays were. So they have one kind of fake blowout win, and they won 0 other games by this many points. Okay. And I understand that the Raiders are the worst team in the NFL, but I've seen this movie before when they played the Broncos twice. The Broncos are a similar team to the Eagles. They kept both of those within reason. So I think they're going to keep this within reason. I mean, Geno Smith has an 11% sack rate this year, okay? That's not reasonable. And Kenny Pickett has a horrific sack rate, but his career sack rate is like 2/3 of that. It's less than 2/3 of that, okay? So how can he be worse than Geno? He can't be.
It's also Pickett revenge. Former Eagle storming back into Philadelphia.
Plus, against the worst run defense, guys, in the NFL, maybe Ashton Genty can get a few yards this week. Maybe.
All right, I have one lone wolf, and I got a bone to pick with you and the entire betting space. I'm laying the 2.5 on the road with the Carolina Panthers because I'm sick and tired of people trying to tell me that Tyler Shuck is not a bad quarterback. This guy is a bad quarterback. Everyone's telling me, oh, he's fine. He's fine. He's functional. No, this guy stinks. Everybody is betting the Saints. Everybody thinks this is the no-brainer play of the week. Gotta bet the Saints. Carolina never does anything on the road. Gotta bet the Saints. So everyone's going to bet the Saints. And you know what Tyler Shuck's going to do? He's going to suck. Canales is going to do it out of the bye. Carolina's going to have success throwing the ball against this dirtbag team. And the Panthers are going to win by margin. But you guys, just like everybody else, Mo, leading the pack, think that the Saints are slam dunk the right side.
Yeah, I don't know where you're getting any of these numbers. I'm seeing 69% of the tickets on the Panthers. You said everybody's on the Chiefs. I'm seeing 25% of the tickets on the Chiefs. I think you're pulling these numbers out of your ass, or you're looking somewhere I'm not looking. So
I will say this one does say the handle. This one does say the handle is 83% in favor of the Panthers. But these are all handle numbers that I'm pulling from DraftKings. So in this one, the numbers are supporting that everyone is betting Carolina. But I've not heard
It's
one
2.5
person all week that makes content say anything positive about the Carolina.
2.5, Carolina off the bye, a Saints team that everybody's happy to fade. And I just think this is a spot where the line is too high and all the money's going to be on the other side. And give me the Saints against... Do the Panthers have a more talented roster than the Saints? I don't think they do. I looked up and down these rosters, and I'm like, I don't see much difference between these teams. I think the Saints might have better players than the Panthers. So, yes, the Panthers have a better quarterback. But that's baked into this line where they're 2.5 point road favorites, man. I mean, a team with 7 wins is a 2.5 point favorite against a 2 or 3 whatever win team the Saints are. So you tell me what side people are going to take.
And this is why
I will bet a pizza on the Saints having more selections in Circa than the Panthers.
Booked.
I think most on the right side there.
Who is taking the Panthers as road favorites? Nobody.
It's 2.5, and it might close. I mean, it might close 3.
Well, if it closes 3, then I feel like I have the right to avoid this. Then obviously they're going to be more popular. But
yeah, we need the Saints to win.
Go ahead,
I don't want to be sitting on my couch in January watching the Carolina Panthers play football in a playoff game.
Why?
Because
The Panthers are fun.
stink. And look, the Bucks also
Got
stink. But
$150,000 by a football team.
I'd rather be watching Baker Mayfield in January than watching Bryce Young. So
Baker Mayfield, the guy losing at home to Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons, that guy stinks.
They all
There's this whole thread today. They all stink. This whole thread, someone's like, who's the next Sam Darnold? You know, we've seen all these reclamation projects, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, Baker Mayfield, they all stink. Those guys still stink. They just stink a little less than they used to. Geno Smith, they stink.
Well, Geno Smith didn't stink for a couple years, but he ultra stinks now.
Well, he had GOAT JSN. He was holding JSN back. JSN was trying to break the damn receiving record. Geno couldn't do the damn thing.
Does this mean you are no longer driving the Geno bus? Are you?
I'm still retired? Probably the only passenger because everybody jumped off. But yeah, he stinks. I've got the Panthers. Donnie has the Eagles and Chargers. Mo's got the Steelers and Giants. Brett's got the Ravens and Packers. Let's make the Week 15 card.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
I went 4-1 last week. I've got the first pick. And we are taking the team that is playing against Brady Cook because the Jacksonville Jaguars should be minus 17. So we've got Jags minus 13.5 on the card.
I kind of like this pick. The Jets are...
I don't see a path to the Jets being competitive.
Yeah, like the Vikings could be competitive with the worst quarterback in the NFL because they still have a defense with a pulse. They have good players around the quarterback in certain positions. The Jets have nothing. They have nothing.
Donnie's up next.
It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points. Donnie's up next. He's got a game that nobody is going to like. He has the Cincinnati Bengals. Plus 2.5 at home against the Ravens. We got to hope this gets to 3. That's the hope, right? That it gets to 3 and we get leverage. But again, there will be tinkering. Donnie's literally in the middle of a poker tournament. He doubled. Or not doubled. He KO'd somebody. Want to flip. Ace Queen versus Jacks. He's up to 1.5 million. I think 30K big blind. 50 bigs. Let's go DP. Mo, you're up next, and you're going to take a team we literally just talked about.
Every week, can I just complain for 10 seconds? Every week, my pick is the collective pick. I never get to put my top pick on, and it's always a winner. And so then I've put some losers on, and it sucks. And it's probably going to happen again. I got the Saints.
Part of it might be because you rigged the system. This week, you actually put reasonable confidence points, but when you jam so many points, you rigged. You stuffed the ballot box.
They're winners. Are they not winners? They keep being winners.
To be fair, you have your fun with this pick. I don't like this pick. Have your fun with.
Well, Brett likes it, so I'm good with that.
With Tyler Shuck getting less than a field.
Nobody said he's good, but I'm looking, and I think this could be a better roster than what the Panthers are rolling out there, man. Things have gone well for the Panthers. I congratulate them, but like Brett said, they still stink.
All right, Brett's up next. he has a road dog.
Hey, I've got the commies.
Mariota. All right. Let's see what Mo's top pick is.
The collective chooses
The Las Vegas Raiders. Kenny Pickett and his tiny hands in the city of brotherly love. Raiders, Jags, Bengals, Saints, Commies. Kenny Pickett, Trevor Lawrence, Tyler Shuck, Marcus Mariota, and Joe Burrow.
There's a couple good players on there. We got some Lawrence and Burrow. They're solid, above average quarterbacks.
There will be tinkering. It's crazy we have no consensus picks on a 15-game slate.
That's got to be a first. Has to be a first.
Nothing ever goes well on these weeks.
All right. There will be tinkering at Gridiron Gamble. Check that out for our final card on Sunday. Follow these guys at Brett Colson, COLLSON, and at Mo Nuwara, NUWWARAH. I'm at Rich T. Ryan, best of luck in your betting ventures. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.